Hi, this is Reflections, and I'm NancyJoy. This week, I went through some of my old reflections, looking for something really specific, because I read a quote by Black Elk that just I knew it was so familiar to me, and what he said was, the first piece, which is most important, is that which comes within the souls of people when they realize their relationship, their oneness with the universe and all its powers. And when they realize that at the center of the universe dwells Great Spirit, and that this center is really everywhere, and it is in each one of us. And that was Black Elk's way of explaining that peace, or as Esther Hicks and Abraham would say, being in the vortex. And it took me back to 2007, the Violet Ray Peru tour I did, at which we did a firewalk. And we were up in the mountains coming down at sunset to do our firework. And there were the hues of, the lavender and that bright orange. And then in between there was that space of blue still from the daytime sky. And I just stood. I did the walk in a meditative place, but then I just stood, and I felt myself go into that space of blue inside the sunset. And it was that peace. It was the knowingness of everything. It was just that centered place where I longed to be. And then, down the mountain, and I danced. In fact, the facilitator, when I got done, she said to me, you danced with joy across the coals. And I realized, as I was going back to that experience, that this is much like what's going on for us right now. Under our feet, perhaps, there are red hot coals in some way. I've talked to many of you and myself, we've talked about what's the direction, no one knows what's happening, and yet there is that peace, that vortex, that whatever you want to call it, that Black Elk talks about. And when you're in that space, your feet don't touch the ground energetically. You're at one with all there is. So there wouldn't be anything to be disturbed about. And I more and more think that's the space we're headed into during this time at 2012. And I also realized that even though there are feelings of absolute destruction all around us, that really what that is that's pushing us back into ourselves. And this is the journey we're on right now. I'm keeping it real short because actually, while you're listening to this, I am in Tallahassee with my grandchildren, which is super. So I did this ahead of time, but I was so moved by that quote and by remembering that space inside of myself. I want to share it with all of you, so perhaps you can take a moment to find that space inside of you. It's always there, and we are always connected to it. And enjoy your own sunset. Enjoy your own firework. May we dance with joy over the hot coals of the shift. Have a great week.